Hi everyone, welcome to Commercial Buildings. I'm Margaret, and this is going to be a fun term, I think. This class is about how commercial building projects go from the design stage all the way through the construction stage. And of course, you as a drafter have a role to play in creating construction documents, but you also have a role in just the whole process. So we'll look at that a little bit. When you first open the page, you'll see this indexy sort of thing on the left, and as you move down the page, notice that it keeps track of where you are. On the right side of the page, if you click that little arrow, here is my email address and some stuff about me, and then some links for places to get help, the student help desk and other places. And if that gets in your way, you can click the X and close it. Let us follow the directions. Let us start here and work our way down. So first, let's look at the syllabus for the class. Here it is. I want to point out this place where it says required text. It's not required. You are not required to buy that book. It's fabulously expensive, and you don't need it because I will give you everything you need to be successful in the class. It's a good reference to have, so if you get a kind of financial aid that will pay for your books, go ahead and get it, and that's why I list this as required, so that you'll be able to buy it with financial aid. But again, not required. Under supplies, I said flash drive. I really realize there are other ways of backing up drawings, but I want to emphasize it's really important that you always keep backup copies of your work as you go along, because stuff happens. Computers crash, stuff goes down, and you're going to do a fair number of drawings in this class. You really, really want backups. All right, let's go on to the next page here. Under assignments, it points out that other than the first assignment, there are no due dates for the quizzes or the drawings. As long as you get them all done by the end of the term, you're good. It also points out that you will do a number of drawings, and I've tried to arrange them so those happen in the first half of the term to give you time. What I want to point out is that once you turn in your drawing, I will give you feedback, and you can then go implement those changes and submit your drawing again, just like you would if you were working in an official office. So that gives you incentive to get these drawings done earlier in the term. If you wait until the very end of the term and at the last minute go, oh my gosh, I've got to do these drawings, then we won't have enough time for me to give you feedback and you to revise them. So try to get your drawings done as soon as you can so that you have a chance to revise them. The quizzes and the exams are all open book, open PowerPoint, open notes. They're not timed, and they're not tricky, and you can repeat them multiple times. So if you get something wrong, you can go back and try it again. And let me know if you have trouble with any of that. I want to now go down to page 4 here to point out something that's really important. It's labeled students with disabilities. You may have a learning difference or a physical thing or a neurological thing that makes it difficult to learn. And you might have an official diagnosis and be registered with the Center for Accessible Resources. And if so, then they can, they'll let me know and we can do stuff. But if you don't have a diagnosis, don't let that stop you. I take this whole subject really, really seriously. So if you have anything that's making it harder for you to learn, please reach out to me and I'll do my best to, you and I together can try and figure out how to give you the best learning experience you can possibly have. That's my job. All right. Now let's look at the schedule, and I've put it on an Excel spreadsheet that looks like this, just to keep it sorted. So in the first couple of weeks here, week 1 and 2, we're going to look at drawing standards for architectural drawings. Also in the first week, the only assignment that has a, oops, I messed up on the date. The only assignment that has a due date is this introduction forum. It's actually due, let's see if I can fix that right now. Yeah, it's actually due October 6th, Sunday. The others don't really have due dates. And I've broken them down here into which ones are quizzes and which ones are drawings. So we'll look at drawing standards, then we'll look at some of the elements that you encounter in commercial buildings. Then in weeks around 4 and 5, we'll look at some of the elements of project management that go with commercial buildings. So if you go to work in an office for a contractor or an architect, you'll be knowledgeable about how all this works. Then we'll spend several days looking at structural steel and structural concrete. At some point in the term, we're going to do, I call it a virtual field trip. We're going to have a Zoom meeting with the City of Eugene Planning Department. These are the people who do plans examining and issue building permits. And they are very interested in staying connected with us in the drafting program because they want you to know about what they do. And the director just said to me last week, this is a way to foster your career development. This date could change. They have to work out, I think they're going to have several speakers and they have to work out what date will work. And if you are unable to make that field trip, I will record it, or they will record it, so you can watch the recording later. You would not get a chance to ask them questions, but you would have the recording. All right, da-da-da-da-da. And then at the very end of the term, we'll look at ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, and Universal Design, which is an important element of commercial buildings. ADA is required in commercial buildings. And we have, let me see, in the schedule here, we have an extra credit assignment related to ADA. I put it in week 1 so that you can be thinking about it, but it is not due until week 10. And I say week 10 rather than finals week so that everybody can have a chance to go look at it and read it before the term is done. So now let's go back to Moodle. So we looked at the syllabus and the syllabus schedule. Here is the title block that you will use for all those drawings that you're going to do. This is your title block, and it follows the required standard form. All right, let's move down to week 1 here. We'll push that arrow. All right, and here we are. Now our indexy thing is on week 1. Here's the introduction forum, and that does have a due date. You have to finish that by midnight on Sunday night, so that we know that you are really in this class. Sometimes people register and then forget and don't really want to take the class, and then they get this huge bill for tuition. So with this forum, if you do not complete the forum by Sunday, then you will be administratively dropped and you won't get billed for tuition. That's the deal with that. All right. Let's see. Let's click on this first page here. Our first topic is what is commercial. And I just want to point out that on each one of these pages, you'll see this big box in your face that's a video. That's me talking about the PowerPoint, but a little bit harder to see. There's always one of these things, a link to the slides. This is where you get the PowerPoint slides. So I recommend you download these slides and put them on your computer. That's what I'll be talking about in this video. When you do a quiz, you can open up that PowerPoint and have it alongside the quiz so you can make sure you get the points that you want. Okay, now how do we get back to where we were? There are two ways. You could click this heading at the top. That's what I like to do. Or you could go back to, here's the start of week 1 over here in the index thing. I'll click that. Okay, and so here we are back in week 1. These things that are pink or red, those are quizzes or drawing assignments. And then here also in week 1, here is that extra credit assignment. You don't have to do it. It's totally optional. You can get extra points if you want to do it. And let's just look at that. So what it says is pick a specific disability and write a paper or make a PowerPoint talking about how designers accommodate that particular disability and how users experience it. And on the second page here, I give you some background about disability, universal design, and so forth, and then a few examples. You might have noticed that this topic, I'm going to close this now, is really important to me. I'm doing research on visual impairment. I'm also interested in some of the invisible disabilities like autism, but really I'm quite passionate about all of them. If you decide you want to do this extra credit, may I recommend that you go down to week 10. Oopsie, stop that. I don't want that. Go away. Oh, how do I make that come back? Hang on a second. Hang on a second. I'm going to, that's my calendar. Okay. Come down to week 10 and look at the PowerPoint and video that go with ADA and universal design, so you can get kind of an overview and a background of what's involved there. One other thing I wanted to point out before we quit is that I have put all of the slides for this class and every other drafting class onto a Google Shared Drive. And this thing here is a video about how to get there. You have access to all of these files through your LCC email address, and you'll still have access after the term is done, after Moodle goes away, you still have this. So this is a good resource. And if you do an ADA extra credit thing, we'll drop it into this folder here so that everybody has access. Here are the syllabus and schedule, all the assignments, all the lectures. So you can download the PowerPoints, you can get the video links, so it's all right there. I think that's all I have to say. I think this is going to be an interesting term. It does have a fair bit of drawing in it, so get on those drawings as soon as you can and try to keep up with where we are in our schedule. You'll have a better time. All right, have a good term and talk to you soon.